What's up, Resolve students? I am so glad that you guys are back with us on our video series as we're wrapping up our summer study on Philippians. Resolve is coming, school is coming. We're about to get back in our normal rhythms of all the things that we have lined up for this semester. And I can tell you right now, it's going to be great. But before we get into all of that, let's wrap up what we've been doing together this summer. We've been going through the book of Philippians, which is Paul's letter to the church at Philippi, and we've been learning some different things along the way. And so today we're going to be looking at Philippians chapter 4, verses 10 through 13. Paul's beginning to wrap up his letter to the Philippians, and he has one last lesson that he wants to impart to them that he's going to share, that we're going to unpack today. So what Verse 10 says, it says this, "I rejoiced greatly in the Lord that at last you renewed your concerns for me. Indeed, you were concerned, but you had no opportunity to show it. And I'm not saying this because I'm in need, for I've learned to be content, whatever the circumstances." He says this, "I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want." And then everyone knows this verse. "I can do all things through him who gives me strength." And to me, it's rare that we look at this verse, Philippians 4:13, in the context of what he's talking about. So let's chat for just a second about what he's saying to the Philippians, and then let's draw out of that some things that he's saying to us. First of all, he says that he greatly rejoiced in the Lord when at last they renewed their concern for him. This is a fancy way of saying that the Philippians had been supporting Paul before, and he's saying, hey, you did it again. You gave me a gift of some sort, and he doesn't say what it is, but they gave him a gift of some sort to support him, to help him, to say, hey, we're behind you, and here, it's some money or some gifts or something that we want to show our support for you. And he's thanking them. And that's a good thing to do as you wrap up a letter to somebody. If they've done something great for you, you should thank them. But then he says, okay, let's shift gears and let's have a lesson about contentment. And that's what he says in verse 11. He says, I'm not saying this because I was in need, because I've learned to be content in whatever situation. He's saying, thanks for the help, but it's not like I was desperate for it. It is super appreciated, but I'm not desperate. I'm never desperate, actually, because I've learned the secret to being content in every situation. And he outlines some situation. He says he knows what it is to have plenty. He knows what it is to not have enough. He knows what it is to be hungry. He knows what it is to be well-fed. But when it comes down to it, the secret to being content in every situation is knowing that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, through him who gives me strength. And so what does that mean for us? Well, because for Paul, he's saying, hey, thank you guys so much for this gift. I just want you to know I'm okay either way. I appreciate it, but I trust God with my life. I trust God with the things that I need. And I think that's where our lesson in contentment comes from. I know for me, it's really easy to look at what other people have as far as the things they're into, the cars other people drive. It can even be things like the relationships people have, and you're like, oh, what if only I was dating this person, or if only I was friends with that group of people. If only I had this, then I'd be content. Paul says that's not what contentment is about. Because you can be in the best of situations or the worst of situations. But if you look at whatever situation you're in and say, God, I can do this. I can make it through this situation because of you. Because you give me the strength to make it through. I remember for me, this got really real in my life. There's a time where I wasn't dating and I was bummed about not dating. Hopefully I'm not the only one who's ever felt that way. But I read this verse. It's Psalms 23, verse 1. And it says, the Lord is my shepherd. I have everything that I need. And I think that's what Paul is getting at here. Is he's saying it's not bad to have a lot. It's not bad to want a good life. It's not bad to want to be in that friend group or to be on that sports team. But if that's what you're waiting on to be content, then you might not be trusting that God really has provided all your needs. So this would be my question to you. What is the area of your life where you feel like you're trying to fulfill your needs instead of trusting God to fulfill your needs? Where are you saying, I'm going to go get that for myself, instead of saying, I'm going to trust that God will give that to me as I need it? Because that's what Paul is saying here. He's saying, look, I appreciate your gift, but I'm not saying it because I was in need, because God had my back either way. And I want you guys to have that same confidence that God's got your back either way. And when you can understand that, you can realize you can make it through any situation. You can have contentment in any situation because you can do all things through Him who gives you strength. Him being Jesus. And so that's the last little chunk of Philippians that we're looking at for this summer. And I'm so excited that I got to share it with you. And now the next thing that's coming up is the Resolve Kickoff. This is next Wednesday at 6:30. You want to be there. It is going to be a blast. August 7th. Bring your friends. Invite whoever. It is going to be bonkers. We have some incredible things in store for this semester. We're having even more special event nights than we've had before. And we're going to have all kinds of good stuff coming up. So I cannot wait to see each and every one of you there on Wednesday night, August 7th at 6:30. Until then, have an awesome first week of school.